But now we're going to move on for our final panel of the day, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be discussing supercharging AI to transform your marketing. What does the future hold? But before we start with this, I need to announce the winner of the dinner for two here at the Rixos. Please put your hands together, everybody, for HISHAM Bothra. So HISHAM, we have your voucher for you here. If you see Yulia, we'll give the prize to you. Congratulations. We do still have one more prize up for grabs this afternoon as well, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations. So this panel discussion is going to be really, really informative and interesting. When it comes to the future of AI-powered marketing and its impact, what does this look like? This is what this session is going to be exploring: the kingdom's advancements and ambitions in technology, the adoption of AI technologies, chatbots, changes in consumer behavior, customer personalisation, predictive analytics, and how these contribute to the UAE's AI initiative and how they transform your marketing strategies too. So I'd like to welcome to the stage now HISHAM Ali, Head of Data and AI, Create Group. So HISHAM is a patent-holding inventor and award-winning leader in the field of artificial intelligence. He's got 10 years experience in the UK building and leading data and AI products for global brands such as IBM, AstraZeneca, and unicorn startups such as Monzo and Matillion. And he specializes in the fields of natural language processing and generative AI. So welcome, HISHAM. Also, we have Karen SEWASA, who is Industry Manager, Retail and E-commerce at Google. Karen, a seasoned consultant at Google, specializing in the retail sector with over 10 years of tech experience. She's successfully partnered with leading e-commerce and businesses in the Middle East and North Africa, driving revenue growth and technological advancements. And the moderator for this panel discussion, we have Andy Powell, co-founder and CEO of Conscious Media. So welcome, Andy. The sustainable digital media partner for brands in the media region. Over the past 15 years, Andy has held previous roles at Time Out and Yahoo, and he's got a wealth of experience. The growing global emphasis on sustainability we're going to be talking about this afternoon. Conscious Media, which brings globally curated digital display, video and CTV to brands in the MENA region. So guys, looking forward to this panel discussion, our final panel discussion of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. First of all, just want to say it's amazing to be here. I remember the first MMA conference that we did about 8 years ago, and it's come on leaps and bounds. So thanks to Melis and the team for putting on a great day today, and looking forward to the Smarties tonight. Thanks to my panelists as well. We've obviously had a few conversations this week, and it's been super interesting for me to understand your roles, how AI is obviously current and relevant within your roles. And I thought today what we're going to do with this panel is talk about kind of the past, the present, and the future of AI, how it can impact marketers' daily tasks, and then obviously what the future holds as well. So let's start right there, and Karen, maybe you can kick off. How do you see kind of AI has developed over the past? Because obviously it is literally part of everyone's day-to-day lives now. We've seen multiple presentations today in terms of how we can use it for creativity, general ad tech, but how have you seen that in your role and personal life over the last, I don't know, 5-10 years?
It's an amazing question. Just a quick sense check in the room. Who here has heard of when Google AdWords started? So remember when we used to manually input keywords to try to determine what the ad is gonna look like in relevance to that specific keyword? So I started during that time. So during that time, everything was extremely manual. And then the company was like, you know what, it's time for mobile first, and everything was all about mobile. We have to optimize everything for mobile. And then we went into the automation era, and everything was about automation. And now we're in the phase of AI where it's completely different. So I am kind of a living testament, or what I do at Google is how AI has also shifted what I do. It's absolutely different from where I started. And the side of where, yes, there are machines that are taking over a big part of what's redundant in my job and what can be changing there. So when you think about that, we also see it from so many different angles on how AI has come across specifically in the last 2 to 3 years. The first one is from a consumer user angle, like people like us, like at the end of the day, you deal with AI on a daily basis, and today we've discussed that. The demand that we see on our platform for terms that, like artificial intelligence, it's outgrowing very simple, prominent topics like cryptocurrencies, for example. So the consumer has the appetite, the user has the appetite. There's so much more expectations that are coming to integrating AI in your day-to-day life, way beyond than just finding an answer to your question. Then you see tech players that are integrating, or from a supply perspective, so not only tech player, our partners, or some of you from the, let's say, the partner side of things, AI is being extremely integrated, where Google is transforming everything into AI. Sundar said it very clearly, right? We're becoming an AI-first company. So that is also shifting from this end. So to summarize, I think the way I see it is that it has stopped becoming a futuristic idea. It is something that we are dealing with in a conscious and an unconscious way, that is shifting what we do in our jobs and essentially will impact how we get paid. So that is my experience with AI, I think.
Nice, thank you very much. And Hisham, you've got a very interesting background we were talking about earlier. Maybe you can share with the audience your journey in AI and where kind of you see it right now as well in your day-to-day.
Awesome. My journey with AI has been a long one. I think there was a timeline earlier about where AI started, and a good 8-9 years ago, I was on IBM Watson's team. Back then, it was the thing in AI. But if if we're talking to marketers and we talk from a marketing perspective, I'll tell you guys a funny story. And maybe that will give a little bit of perspective as to where the challenges with AI are going to be. When I was the head of AI products at AstraZeneca, I rolled out a transformation program for 4,000 employees. And the first thing I did was I gave everybody a free iPad. Can you imagine? You would have loved that, wouldn't you guys?
Are you hiring?
Yeah, free iPad. So I rolled out a free iPad, and it was kind of a gift to start this journey that, guys, everything you do is going to change. You're going to need something digital with you every day. And I'm going to start bringing in some apps and some day-to-day things in there to change the way you work. The next day, 4,000 employees didn't come to work. What happened? They're on strike. Why are they on strike? Oh, you want us to do more work? Pay us more then. And they didn't come to work the next day. What I learned from this and many, many other failures is that the most challenging part of integrating AI into your day-to-day work as a marketer, as a creative, as a strategist, as a CEO, is the change that you're going to experience. People don't like change. There's one half of them who are feared for their jobs, they're fearing for their lives. We're going to become redundant. I used to do data analysis. Now you can upload an Excel sheet on GPT and ask it to analyze. I'm scared. What's going to happen to my job? There's another half of people, they love AI, but they don't know where to get started. Every presentation, every slide deck is more fluff. But what do I actually do? Where do I get started? I was talking to a gentleman over lunch, and he said, I'm just going to learn to code so I can do AI. I said, mate, you don't need to learn to code. Why do you have to wait 9 months? There's a simple thing everybody can do. Learn how to engineer your prompts properly. ChatGPT, the public free version, can make storyboards for you, write briefs for your agencies, summarize your meeting minutes. It can do so many things, but it all depends on what you give it. It takes 1 hour to learn how to write a good prompt. So it's what I learned at AstraZeneca and IBM and all the previous places I've worked with, and now at a marketing agency with 200 marketers, and I'm supposed to take them on this journey. What I'm trying to do is start them with something really simple. Write a good prompt. Great, you can do that. Let me take it to the next step, and the next step, and the next step. You know, how do you go from brief to creative in 1 hour using a chain of AI tools? That's possible, but it's all about step by step. So I think the friction and taking an entire company on a journey with you, that's, I think, the key thing. My message to CMOs, business owners, directors. Things are going to change, but we have to do it step by step, else we lose the people on the journey.
Absolutely. No, that's really interesting. And I guess staying on that subject, like you kind of covered the challenges, but how do you kind of like, I guess there's an educational step there as well, right? For the people you're talking about, how do you address that? Like, how do you address those pushbacks? And as you said, like, a lot of people will be fearful of, okay, I'm going to lose my job because AI has taken over. We've heard it in other presentations today, but how can you kind of like, I guess, coach and handhold to adopt, not just necessarily change, but actually advance and adopt at the same time?
I feel like this is your domain as marketers. It's all about storytelling, right? So I have a 4-part training series for the whole agency. And step 1 is called the fundamentals of AI. The first story I tell them, AI is just like email, nothing different. When email came about, how were people communicating? Everybody had an executive assistant who was writing letters, booking meetings, everything, meeting minutes. There was a general secretary in every meeting writing meeting minutes. When email came into play, there was a huge portion of the population who was saying, holy smokes, I won't have a job tomorrow. But we still have executive assistants. They still have jobs. They just do different things. That's it. It's just to embrace this idea that my job's going to change. The cost will be, if I don't change, I will be left on the side.
Absolutely.
But I will still have my job. So AI is very stupid. It's artificial. It's not real intelligence. Yeah. And it only gives what, if only, the better your input, the better the output. So it's always going to be human in the loop. The better you are at using it, it's your co-pilot, your assistant, your buddy, your pet, but it's not going to replace you. I think that message, if it's not given very clearly, then people start to get scared.
Anything to add, Karen, on that side?
Just one note on that, kind of to complement it. When you think of marketing solutions that are powered by AI, so think of all of the platforms that you buy media on that are now AI powered. So Google, Meta, Snapchat, all of these are now super automated, super powered by AI. One thing that I prefer to do at all times, at any given cost, is to give an A/B test an actual chance, where when we set up the approach, we want, so let's say, for example, the way that we used to do how we're bidding our campaigns, or this is a very small change. It used to be very manual, and now we're moving to automated. What I would essentially love to do is to start small on one task, one variable, A/B test, and then move on from there. Just to make this a little bit realistic, I think the change is going to happen anyway. The more we prepare everyone for that A/B kind of test approach would be, I would say, a very effective way to look at it.
Nice, nice. Okay. And I guess like staying on that subject of kind of development and what's next, I guess like this is an open question really, but how do you future-proof AI? Because obviously there's tons of different challenges. Again, like we were having conversations about, and again, if you go to an AstraZeneca, for an example, or a government entity, you're going to have massive privacy issues, with how you're actually teaching AI on the inputs that you're putting in. So what do you see the challenges with privacy and things like that with AI tools that businesses and governments might be using today?
I think the most popular and well-known one is, if you're sending a message to ChatGPT, everything in your message has just gone to a server in the US. That data can be shared with any partner of ChatGPT. Look at their privacy policy, it's there. The vast majority of government entities are not allowed to use ChatGPT for that reason, using sensitive company data. So all of your employee records, your SharePoint files, I wouldn't advise anybody share that openly with ChatGPT unless you have an enterprise license agreement or some privacy or legal agreement. So then what do we do? I've just kind of like blocked it off for a large portion of people here. Well, then the answer is that either A, you look for a secure solution. So there's ChatGPT for enterprise, where they have clauses in there to say we're not going to farm your data. Or 2, and this is the solution for government entities and highly secure companies, you've got to be open to building something custom and deploying it on your servers, such that none of your data ever leaves your servers. It stays in the UAE, it stays in your infrastructure, it's not going anywhere. That's one of the services that Create Group, the company I work for, we now deliver, is we deliver custom bespoke AI development on premises.
Are you seeing more demand for that? Is that where you kind of see the future going, is actually, completely having independent?
I think in the UAE and KSA,
yeah,
where companies, gov bodies are extremely, I don't want to say paranoid, but they're really concerned about data privacy, it is the trend. They're not allowing their employees to use publicly available tools, and they're saying we're going to build our own. Their IT department's going to take 3 years to build their own, and then we come and we say we'll do it in 90 days. So I'm definitely seeing there's a trend locally, given those concerns.
Okay.
Absolutely, I totally agree. I think from a marketing standpoint, to complement this as well, you have, Ali mentioned it earlier, is that with the absence of cookies and the way that you're actually, from a marketing perspective, anything on digital is going to, by nature, become a little bit less transparent. So the black box starts increasing in the way that you look at it. The best thing to do is to really empower the data that you have and that you sit on, and respect the user and the consumer throughout all this. Saudi is rolling in PDPL, which essentially is the GDPR of Europe, and it's coming in effect as we speak right now. So the more that you invest right now in getting the consent of every single user, customer, engagement to your website, whatever that you mark as important for your business, the better that you feed that into the system, and then reporting can come into play with the help of AI, with the help of any analytic system that you have. That's one important thing I think it's good to start working on from now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, well, we've got 5 minutes left, and I want to make sure there's a couple of minutes for any questions. So just before we do, I'm going to ask that stereotypical panel question. Like, what do you see the future as with AI? Like, within your businesses or just in generally, either or?
I'll talk about the future. A couple of things that I see as themes very clear when I work with retail partners, and especially think of Amazon, the likes of Amazon and all of these. So AI becomes very important in the way they operate at scale. One is the level of localization. Okay, we're based in the Middle East. There are so many dialects that come into play, and we're so different from each other as well. I think we can fit into one demographic, into 2 different genders, 3, whatever that is, but our behaviors are completely different. The need for AI into building a level of personalization is becoming more and more important, and it can be through cloud solutions with servers that sit in the UAE and KSA, right? That's one. 2 is that AI is becoming very democratized, okay? We all have access to it right now. And that's exactly what also Ali alluded to. It's gonna become a lot more democratized for us as marketeers, content creation. You have Jasper that is now very good with copywriting, and a lot of the players are using it as well. So the access to these tools is gonna give us an opportunity to grow in our roles, to really bypass that level of redundancy. 3 is that I think ethical AI, carbon emission, carbon neutral is going to become a big topic. AI can play a big role in trying to avoid traffic, for example. How can we control traffic lights? It's one of the big projects that are being led by Google. So there's impact to it, there's shift to what we do, and there's so much I think it will bring. And there are things I don't know yet, so we'll see.
I'd say that for marketers, if I just focus on one thing, how is marketing going to change, whether your agency side, whether your industry? A lot of things are going to become conversational, as opposed to half the people in this room are probably on their phones, a third of them probably on WhatsApp. Marketing was a game, like in the last 10 years, it's been a game of content. Create content, chuck the content at your audience. The next decade is the decade of conversation. Somebody lands on your website. As we say in the UK, they can't be asked to go through your 160 microsites to find what they want. They want to talk to someone or to something. It's the same thing with brands. So I think brands, agencies have to embrace this idea of conversational experiences for audiences. Talk to your audiences, build those into your brand and into their experience, as opposed to chucking content at them. I think that's one big trend that we're going to see.
Perfect, thanks. We've got a couple of minutes left. Does anyone would like to ask the panel any questions at all? I think there's one at the back. Is there a spare microphone? Sorry. You can.
I'm happy to
you can take mine. You had a question, yeah? No? Yes. Sorry. I haven't got my glasses on. They're on stage. Wasn't you? Oh, sorry. Ah, one over here.
Hello. Thank you so much for the wonderful event, and thank you so much for the wonderful session. I really appreciate your comments, and I'd like to specifically focus on Mr. Hisham's comments, and that's very important to mention. We should not just upload our company data to ChatGPT. I mean, many people still, we're not very careful about this. So I want to ask, you mentioned as a technological solution, one of them is, these LLMs, large language models such as ChatGPT, but alternatives of ChatGPT running on local servers. And another alternative is desktop LLMs, which are basically like, software we just download and install on our desktop computers. And then they are just like ChatGPT on our desktop, and it doesn't need to even connect to the internet. So they are ideal for, running our confidential dialogues and, even uploading. So my question here is to you, maybe they are your competitors, but I have to ask, do you know any good, because I'm looking for the last, 1.5 years maybe, since ChatGPT came out, is there a very good, like, competent desktop LLM that I can just download as I'm technical user, but if I was non-technical, is there a desktop LLM? I can go to the website, download that, install it on my computer, and it's almost like ChatGPT. Is there such a software that you could recommend to us? Thank you so much.
It's a great question. I think at the moment, desktop LLMs still have a little way to go to be as simple as click, 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 start using on your desktop. But if you look at locally built ones like Jace or Falcon, those are downloadable. You might need to know a few lines of code to get it up and running locally on your laptop, but it's getting to the point where you can literally click. But I would recommend people look at Jace, which was built in Abu Dhabi, local servers, bilingual English and Arabic. Download it on your computer and talk to it. Falcon as well, Jace and Falcon. J-A-I-S. I get no commission. Maybe I should start asking for some. Sorry? It's a semi-government organization, so it's an independent research.
It's a research institute, so we are not getting commission. Yeah.
No, definitely not. Yeah. Thank you.
But you are the new head of BD now. Any other questions? Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much, guys. That's really interesting. Thanks, everyone.